Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, driven by your Southern California Honda dealers. I'm Allie Clifton, joined by the Hall of Famer, big game James Worthy, five-time champ Derek Fisher, Lakers insider Mike Bresnahan. Mike Trudell is in Miami. We'll handle locker room interviews. Guys, Lakers made it interesting, to say the least. Better urgency, effort there down the stretch after trailing by as many as 26. Cut it to within 4, two-possession game. But I think the bottom line here is, and I have numbers that I'm not going to bore you with, but against a team who is fighting for a top spot, as Miami is in the Eastern Conference, 15-5 at home, well-constructed and oiled as they are, you cannot dig yourself a hole as deep as the Lakers did to start the game and expect to have a chance, though they had one, which was interesting down the stretch, the way they did today. Fish, you just have to start better from the jump, and the Lakers did not do that today.
Yeah, I mean, against any team, like you said, to start out in the hole the way they did on the road, against a good, sound team, and in particular, the way Miami shot the ball in the first half. Like, it's just tough to rob them of enough confidence in order to come all the way back in this one. 11 threes in the first half made by Miami, only 4 in the second half. So, you could tell that I think everybody kind of thought the game was over. Miami took their foot off the gas, and the Lakers decided the game wasn't over. So they do deserve credit there, but it's tough to play from behind the entire night. And that goes for anybody, but especially not a team as good as Miami Heat.
The irony there is the 11 threes was the most by opponent given up by the Lakers this season. And when it came down to winning the game, you have that Duncan Robinson three at the top of the key. He got hot. And then you might as well just put P.J. Tucker's name on a corner three ball because that's his shot as well.
Yeah, I think he can hit that shot, blindfolded over there in that corner. And, without Tyler Hero and Lowry, Miami still finds ways to plug in players and play their system, to play their game. I thought the Lakers, got too far behind, like Fish said, and you have to expend a lot of energy, just to get it from 20 to 10, and then then momentum usually switches. But I like the fight in the fourth quarter. They didn't give up. They, maybe they can, get inspired by the comeback a little bit on this trip. Hopefully so.
I feel like the Lakers kind of, and I hate cross-sports references, but they were kind of like Tampa Bay today. Down early, made a big little push, and then you see the numbers here. Pretty good fourth quarter. You cannot complain about that. What you can complain about, if you're looking at the Lakers critically, that first half. They allowed 69 points. Yet again, way too generous, way too compliant in the first half. What they allowed the other night, 70, or maybe that was against Indiana. It kind of starts to blur together. And they gave up 11 threes as well in that first half. So just too big of a hole. Nice comeback. I liked LeBron's game, obviously. What's not to like about him pretty much the whole season. I also liked Russ. Again, very careful with the ball. Only 3 turnovers. Very efficient on offense. But that's about all you can say. Maybe the other piece of good news is AD went through a pregame shoot-around, but another Laker loss. They're back under 500.
When it comes to AD, obviously we're going to talk more about him in depth coming up later in the show. But I think as it pertains to this, the Lakers only outscored by 4 inside in the paint, 44-40. But I think, Fish, we were talking about this a little bit earlier. What does the challenge look like? You do have a veteran ball club, which we've talked all season long, lends to experience. But when you watch games like this, again, against teams that you're looking up at when it comes to the standings, you look a step behind defensively, which lends to obviously missed coverages. The shots were short. There were some air balls that were very uncharacteristic from a couple of guys this season. You got 35 games to go. AD is on the horizon in return, but there's still some things that need to be fixed, and he's not going to be able to fix it all.
So here we are talking about AD is on the way again, huh?
AD is on the way.
AD is on the way. That will help for sure, having Anthony Davis behind the perimeter defense of the Lakers that's, been a little more porous than it has been over the last couple of years. I think it's during the regular season, and I believe that's why some people feel that the Lakers are still going to be difficult to eliminate in the postseason because the team is more built for tough postseason matchups. The regular season for an older veteran team, the way Miami moves the ball, the way good teams in the NBA share the basketball now, the amount of closeouts and one-on-one defense and the amount of times you have to switch and talk and point, Like it requires so much energy just to get one stop. It is difficult for this Lakers team to do that night in and night out. It really is. They can do it in spurts and in stretches, but over the course of 48 minutes, there's just not enough of those minutes to be able to slow teams down offensively. So hopefully getting AD back soon, that gives better rim protection. And then they can start to do a better job of protecting the paint, protecting the rim, keeping teams off the free throw line. And one thing they haven't done as much this year is creating forced turnovers, which gets LeBron out and Russ out in transition. That would be an area they need to try and improve on as well.
This is certainly one of those games that you can look at moving forward when it comes to the big picture, because as we know, Miami top 7 both offensively and defensively, and they put a clinic on with moving the basketball big game no matter what lineup was out there for the Lakers.
Yeah, just goes to show you they've been together, and even the guys they've added, they've adapted to the system. They're winners. Butler's a great leader, and, the way they play and the shooters that they have on the perimeter, if they collapse in defenses, they're getting a lot of big three-point shots. And then when you add guys like Bam, who's very active, we didn't have a big really to compete with him. Dwight started a little bit, and then they come in with Dedmon, who's also very active. Those are the problems we have. I think when AD comes back, in addition to having Dwight Howard as a backup, you may see a little bit more consistent, defense, at least in the paint.
It is a true testament to what system that they do have out there, because we've talked about the plug and play that Spo has been forced to use. I mean, Kyle Lowry is 5th in the NBA, guys, and 8 assists a game. Tyler Hero is front runner for most improved at 21 points a game. They're not out there, and they still play the same way.
Yeah, it's kind of like Miami's kind of like the Lakers of the East. Obviously, there's a big difference we'll get to in a second. They've had a ton of injuries. Bam missed about 2/3 of the season with a torn thumb ligament. Jimmy Butler really in and out of the lineup. He's missed about 1/3 of the season. As you mentioned, 2 of their starters, or maybe one of their starters, and maybe the 6th man of the year, and Tyler Hero, both out tonight. Difference, Miami has guys who've been able to fill the cracks. They're in first place now in the East. I believe they moved into a tie with the win today. So you got the undrafted guys, guys like Gabe Vincent and Max Strus. Caleb Martin was out there late in the game, too, for Miami. They've had these guys who've been able to help weather the storm. And most importantly, Jimmy Butler, who, James, he was playing point guard today. I mean, it was really amazing to watch. He's basically the 3rd-string point guard on this team. Did a great job, especially in that first half.
Good catch there. 6th man, not most improved. But with Jimmy Butler, 10 assists in the first half.
Yeah.
4 points. Still very impactful. Lakers fall to a game below 500, 23-24 with 35 games to go. Before we go to the highlight, let's check out a tweet from the best. Flea, this Laker team is incapable of maintaining mental focus, athletic energy, or spiritual groundedness over the length of a 48-minute game, and it's breaking my little Laker heart.
Flea, always putting it out there. I thought they were good the last 24. Just the first 24. Not so good. So I would amend that tweet a little bit, Flea, if you want. But I get the point, Fish. I get the point.
Yeah, no, it's over the length of a 48-minute game.
Yeah.
You're right. I think he's just saying from start to finish.
Start to finish, sure.
They sometimes struggle in those areas, but oof.
As a fan, it's not something that they have been able to see consistently enough this season. So you get it.
Yeah, and it's, it's so tough because we have no idea what it's like to be Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers and how hard that job is. Nobody in the world understands how hard the job is that those guys are being asked to do on the court. So it comes with the territory, though.
And, Laker fans, they've been used to, certain production. They're used to winning championships. So this has been a very harsh year. I remember Kobe's last year was kind of harsh as well. They're just not used to, not winning. I think they can accept, trades and things of that nature, but not winning and the way we've been losing, I don't think they're used to that. So
I feel like people are tweeting after every game. Magic a few games ago, and now Flea. If they lose again to Brooklyn in a couple days, who's going to be the next one to tweet? Obviously, some frustration among Laker fans and faithful with this team. When will the bottom be found? That's the key.
Yeah.
We just don't know. And how many times, Allie, on these shows have we said, have they turned the corner? Have they turned the corner?
As someone who has stepped into Laker faithful, they don't just tweet after the game. They tweet before, they tweet during, and even on non-game days. They are faithful. Let's get you out. The game time decision heading into this one has missed the last 17 with an MCL sprain. that is a positive. He is close, Fish, to returning. We saw him warming up, doing some more contact before the game, feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I think every guy in that locker room, coaches included, are excited for this possibility. Some of the mistakes that Frank Vogel mentioned in this postgame, right? The way good offensive teams stress you out defensively, like Anthony Davis helps to clean those up. There are going to be those mistakes when you're playing against great basketball players, but having Anthony Davis behind those perimeter guys that sometimes get confused and have breakdowns, that's going to improve this Lakers defense. It's going to get them out where they can be even more efficient offensively, and that'll be a better balance. So hopefully when he's back, we don't have to talk about any more absences. I've experienced, I'm sure, big games well, an MCL sprain is, it's uncomfortable depending on the severity of it. Structurally, it's not terrible, so he shouldn't really have that much of a limitation when he gets back. I think they're going to try and get him back when he can just go and they don't have to hold back too much, and that'll be a good sign.
I was going to say, Frank wouldn't reveal if there would be any minutes restriction, but I think that's why, because they're not going to put him out there with that kind of injury unless he is full 100% big game.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a minute or so to get your confidence back because there's a different feel that you've been dealing with. So when you go back on the court, sometimes you're not hesitant, but you're a little careful until you have an explosion or a move or something that where you really can trust it. And I think AD, he'll get over that. I mean, obviously he's been out before with injuries, and hopefully he'll be able to get over the mental part of it, and he can just go out and blast it away.
I actually got tricked. The Lakers yesterday moved AD from out to questionable, which means 50-50. And you're thinking, okay, they're kind of setting him up to return today. Did not happen, obviously. Here's the problem now. Lakers on the road for another week. No real easy opponent in sight over the next few games. You go to Brooklyn, then you go to Philly, then you go to a resurgent Charlotte franchise. And as Fish can attest, the Lakers always have trouble playing in Charlotte. So A, not a ton of practice time. B, some really good teams coming up. You obviously need him back, though. There's no doubt about it. If he played tonight, the Lakers win that game almost surely. No way they allow 69 in that first half. And Allie, quick bonus, Kendrick Nunn shooting around on the court before the game. So maybe that's a little preview of what might come maybe by the end of the trip. Lakers have not said anything about him lately, though.
And as he tweeted the other day, it'll be worth the wait. He's just as frustrated as we all are. Yep. He's excited to get back out there. More to come. The Lakers fall.
Fielded defender in that backside of the pick and roll turns his head. LeBron's cutting, and nobody wants to get in front of him when he's on the floor, and nobody's definitely getting in front of him in the air.
Smart. Fish's focus, I believe, is where we're going.
Yeah.
Are we?
We are.
Oh, let's go.
What are you breaking down?
Go.
I'm breaking down how, especially in the first half, Bam Adebayo at the center, similar to Draymond Green in Golden State. You run screen roll and action that gets two people on the basketball, that gets to confusion here, right? So Dwight's going to step up a little. Miami Heat's ability to shoot the three. Bam Adebayo gets behind Dwight. Easy 2 points there. Here, again, coming off, Russ is chasing Duncan Robinson over. Depending on how high Dwight comes up, ball comes out, freeze. Two guys against one. Now Bam's just reading the situation. Miami does a great job of moving and sharing the basketball. That's perfect pick and roll basketball. That's why a lot of teams switch instead of putting two on the ball. Here at this time, look at how far Dwight is back. Too much space. Russell gets hit by the screen. Dwight's not up high enough. Duncan Robinson knocks down the three. Again, Melo, at this point, the ball's gotten picked up. He shouldn't move up to cover this. This is done. He should stay here. Now Bam again. It's 4 Miami Heat players against 3 Lakers. Just, it's too easy. These guys practice this stuff every day. When they're working out with assistant coaches and player development coaches, those are the reads that they're working on every day. So when they catch that basketball, Bam Adebayo catching that basketball in the middle of the Lakers defense, he's just reading whatever the Lakers defense gives him. So that's why you have to play smaller a lot more so that you can switch those things. If a smaller guy ends up on Bam and he tries to post up, you have a better chance of slowing down their offense that way than putting 2 on the ball and screen roll.
Which is why we saw a lot of the small ball down the stretch.
Yeah.
Great breakdown. Avery Bradley scored 13 of his 15 points in the second half. He's sitting down with Mike in the media.
Hey, Avery, what did you think was working defensively as you guys made that comeback and a little bit even past games compared to how you started the game and Miami was able to build that lead?
I think the main thing was the intensity. Just a little too late. We not only dug a hole for ourselves, but I think when we try to match their intensity, the referees, I would say they weren't really ready for our intensity. It was almost too late when we tried to raise our level of play, but we were able to switch 1 through 5, and I feel like it made the game easier for us. We were able to make easier reads on the defensive end, and we're able to get stops and get out on the offensive end and make plays.
Avery, I got 2 for you. One, your right hand. What's going on there?
Yeah, it's fine. Just been dealing with it for a few games. I'm fine though.
Okay, and then you mentioned the referees. There was that consequential call late with you and PJ Tucker, and it seemed like you took.
Yeah. I mean, those I can't really control that. I try to make the best play I could for our team, and that's trying to get LeBron open. I think the referee noticed the play and called travel right after. So, but like I said, we can't control those. That play, one play, then can determine the game. And we came out with the intensity we had in the second half at the beginning of the game. I feel like we would have won tonight.
Avery, what's sort of the attitude level of, I guess, where do the defensive leaders sort of think about where this team is at on that side of the ball right now? I mean, the inconsistencies. You said intensity a week ago. We'd heard a word like effort. How frustrating is it that these are things that keep coming up?
It's frustrating. I mean, everything you just listed is how we feel. Everyone in the locker room. We have to be tied together. I feel like we're up and down. We're not learning from our mistakes. And as a veteran team, as a team that, is looking to go far in the postseason, I feel like we have to correct our mistakes and learn from those, and we just have to play better. And it's unfortunate, but tonight I like our fight, but it was too late, like I said.
Do you have any guesses as to why this stuff is happening?
I don't know. I think a big part of it is just our effort from night to night. I think on this team we have a lot of talented players, and we all have to buy into our roles. My role is to go out and play hard on defense every single night. There's nights that I feel like I'm not, and I want my teammates to be able to tell me so I can bring that. Malik is a scorer. We need him to score every single night. Melo makes shots. I think we have to understand what we all can bring to the team and bring that every single night, and put that energy into each other. And I feel like we can turn this season around. We can win games, play better, more consistently, but it's going to take that. It's going to take guys being able to sacrifice, understand what they can bring. And I know you guys probably been hearing that, but I think if we do that, we can be the team we're supposed to.
See it right here. Most consecutive games with 25 plus. Lakers all time. Tying Elgin Baylor there, 17. Quite the list. We'll be back. Still waiting to hear from LeBron, from Russ, but we will. 9 for Russell Westbrook in the loss. He's speaking now with Mike in the media.
Russ, Avery was just talking about the intensity that he thought you guys played with just maybe came a little bit too late, and as you kind of made the comeback as a team from the first quarter. Did you see it that way, or was there something else that you noticed about Miami?
We just started off a lot too slow, but picked it up a little too late. Our intensity, our sense of urgency was a little late.
Okay. Russ, what about Miami's offense, the way they run things, made it difficult for you guys in the first half, and where do you think you improved the most on that end?
Just play harder. That's it. They was just playing hard enough. When we decided to play hard, you see the difference. It doesn't matter in this league. It doesn't matter what a team runs or what it is. If somebody's playing harder than you, you will know right away. And then that's that. And then when we decided to be able to step our intensity up on both sides, rebound the ball, defend, run, play the way we supposed to play, then you see the results.
Yeah. Russ, this might be a hard question to answer, but why doesn't that happen more consistently with this group?
I don't know.
Is that frustrating that you guys have been chasing sort of that answer for a little while now?
I don't know if that's is that true or not. I don't know if we've been chasing it or not, but I don't have the answer to that question.
AD is very close to coming back. That does mean a round of changes again too for this team. But what is it going to mean to kind of get that level of talent back on the court for this group? And do you think it'll give you not just an on-court boost, but maybe like a mental boost too, to kind of be closer to whole?
I think it's whenever you get a player like AD back, it definitely changes your team, not just on an offensive side, but defensive side. He's able to do things that people can't do at his size, and definitely gives the team a boost, get a chance to be able to see everybody on the floor, at least, hopefully as we kind of move forward towards the tail end of the season.
Avery mentioned the switching defense really kind of made reads easier. I was wondering your view on that change and how it changed the dynamic of the game.
Yeah, it was a good adjustment. For the most part, we did a good job of executing it.
Russ, back to AD. How do you, I guess 17 games without him so far, how do you look at this stretch that you guys have kind of had to endure without him? You're sitting kind of still right around that 500 mark. Do you feel like you've kind of managed to survive that stretch? And then two, do you feel like some of the problems you've endured in that time, to what degree do those just automatically get resolved with AD? Like, how much of that just gets fixed by him coming back?
First question, I think it's hard to tell because a lot of those games, it varies because some of those times Brown was in, I think, missed some, and then some other guys missed some games. It kind of varies. That's a difficult question to answer. And the second one is the same. Like, not one person is going to change every aspect of, what we're doing. And I think for us, it's also going to be an adjustment for everybody to kind of get back into the rhythm of playing with AD and AD as well, getting his wind back, getting his conditioning back. That's going to be a process, and it's our job to be able to make sure that we can help him through that process.
Here's a look at Russell Westbrook over the last 2 games. Bad, 21 points on average, 10 boards, 8 assists, 53% shooting from the field. Big game today, 24, 9, and 9. First time he'd reached the 20-point mark in 9 games.
Well, we know he can do it. Mm-hmm. It's not that, he can't do it. It's just a matter of finding ways to do it more consistently and making the game a little bit easier for him. I have no doubt that Russ will, come around, and, he's playing consistently the last few games. And I trust, in what he says, that it's just a matter of playing harder and letting get AD back. I don't question his effort.
Yeah, and on the flip side to that, the turnovers. He had 3 today, which was the first time he had 3 turnovers in 5 games, Fish. So there is a balance, and obviously we know that. We've watched it all season long. I think as of late, his biggest thing was ways in which he can positively impact winning for this squad. For the last 2, it's looked pretty good, though the result wasn't there today, the decision-making.
Yeah, I think, all of these guys are going to be more irritable, a little, short with the media when the team is not playing well and they're not winning games. That's what it really all comes down to. And I think you're more willing to accept how you're individually playing if the team is finding a way to be successful. So hopefully as the wins come, right, like there's not as much, magnifying of how one guy may have turned it over a couple more times than we think he should be because the team is winning. And I think that's really all Russ cares about. That's why he wanted to come here, agreed to come here. It's why LeBron and AD welcomed it. Everybody was on the same page about this happening. So until they start winning, they're going to feel like they're falling short of why they originally decided to put this group together. 2022 it's a tough time to not do what people think you should do. Like, it's just the social media, the 24-hour news cycle in sports. Like, you can't fall short of expectation because you really need time to be great. I don't care. You can go back to James's teams, our teams. Like, Shaq signed with the Lakers in 1996. Kobe got drafted in 96. I got drafted in 96. They both just let me hold the clipboard a little bit. They did all the heavy lifting, trust me. But we didn't win the championship in '96. We won the championship 4 years later. And so, you don't just snap your fingers and throw some guys into being the best team in the world in basketball. There are too many details and things and connection that are required. So we have to talk about it. It's a part of the job. Their individual resumes demand that they're held to a different standard. But we're getting on here nitpicking on some things that it's hard. This is really difficult. So there are nights where you feel bad that you have to say certain things and objectively describe what you just saw. But that can't get lost in the fact that it's near impossible to do what they're doing, and they're still putting the effort out, at least, to try to figure it out.
That's why we have guys like you. Everyone have guys like you, because you've been there, so you can tell us what that is like and add the perspective, especially when things aren't going well. Let's go back to Miami. LeBron is now with Mike in the media.
LeBron, I know at AD, we don't know for sure if he's going to play next game, but just wondering how much you think the various different things you guys have had going on, having a top 10 guy like that comes back, how much that fixes things, how much it helps you, how much it sets your path for the rest of the season versus what you have to keep doing.
Well, I mean, anytime you get a talent like that comes back to the lineup, it boosts our team, not only physically, mentally, spiritually, everything. You get a big-time player like that on both sides of the floor. So, like I said, there's no pressure when he decides he's ready, or when the doctors and his staff tell him he's ready. But we look forward to, when he's in the uniform again with us.
For a night like tonight, he comes out and he plays 2-on-2 before the game, but then he doesn't go. What did you think you guys did early in the game, or didn't do, that ended up kind of turning around before it was too late?
Well, I mean, you give up 39 points in the first quarter. 69 at half is not ingredients for us trying to win, on the road versus a very, very well-coached team. And they shot the ball extremely well from the three-point line to start the game. We didn't close out on their shooters. So they set the tempo in the first half. We played even basketball with them in the third. In the fourth quarter, we played the type of basketball we want to play, but dug ourselves too much of a hole early in the game.
LeBron, what's the biggest frustration with kind of the things that went on defensively early in this game? And I guess in a bigger picture sense, more than halfway through this season, should some of these problems be continually kind of popping up?
We just have too many breakdowns. And versus a team is this well coached, you can't have multiple breakdowns throughout the course of a game, throughout the course of a possession, throughout the course of a first half or a quarter, because they're gonna make you pay. There's a lot of teams in this league, at times won't make you pay for mistakes, but they are not one of them, and they made us pay every time.
LeBron, I asked Russ about it, and he said that he felt like you guys just played a lot harder in the second half. Was there more than that defensively? Were you executing things better?
We did play, extremely hard. I thought for the majority of the game, but I thought we executed our schemes more in the second half. Guys had their ears open. We was listening to commands, and we were acknowledging those and validating those commands. So, put us in position to get stops, keep bodies in front of us, and clean glass when they took either perimeter shots or in the paint.
Just continuing on Russ for a second, in terms of the energy he brought in the second half and being a part of the comeback, what have you kind of seen from him this week in terms of kind of handling everything that went down earlier in the week and kind of assuming this role?
I don't know. I mean, he's just being himself. That's all. I feel like it's every game is whatever you've seen in Russ. I've seen him just be himself. That's all. He was attacking, pushed the tempo, got guys in position. He was great with the basketball, and we just tried to match his energy.
Hey, LeBron.
Oh, Joe.
Hey, man.
Grew your hair out?
Yeah. As we've aged, I think my hair's done a little better than before.
And mine is going the other way. Yeah, mine is going the other way.
Hey, I think this is your first game here since you led the Lakers to a title over the Heat. And obviously that was not, the games weren't here, they were in the bubble. But now that you're not in the pressure of that moment, what was it like for you from a career perspective to be in that finals against them? Like, how did you handle that?
I knew it was going to be probably one of the most mentally challenging sets of games because they know me and I know them so well. Or I know Spo and Spo knows me so well. And I knew that he would try to take everything away from me that I do well. And I just tried to get into the mind of his on what he wanted to do to help his team win a championship. And it was just, it was basically like playing chess. I just know that versus a Spo team, when he has, time and multiple days and hours to prep for a team and prep for an individual, he's one of the best. So I knew I had to do that even more on my side to make sure that my guys were prepped and understood what was going on, because I already knew the type of series it was going to be.
LeBron, you've taken on so much, especially from a scoring standpoint, over these 17 games that AD has been out. Frank said before the game, one of the many advantages of getting him back will be the ability to sort of spread out the workload a little bit. How do you view that, and how do you view kind of these 17 games that you guys have had to figure it out and survive without him?
Well, it all depends what the workload means. Did he explain what the workload meant?
I can't remember exactly how he phrased it. So
I mean, it could mean a lot of stuff, so I don't want to jump on what he said because I don't know what he was referring to.
The spirit of the question I asked him was, if not that you can't handle it, but if it's ideal for you to be needing to score 30 points a night or 35, to be in some of these games.
Well, that's just how the games have been going. I don't need to score 30 a night, but I'm in one of the best zones offensively I've been in my career, and I don't plan on stopping it. That's just how I feel. I feel fantastic, shooting the ball extremely well from the field. I didn't shoot the 3-ball well tonight, but all 8 of them felt great. Shooting efficient from the free throw line. I'm shooting efficient from the field. Very efficient at the rim. So I don't go into the game saying, oh, you got to score 30 or you guys don't have a chance to win. I just play the game, and the scoring has just been happening organically. So workload, I don't know. I was 18 years old saving a franchise, so I don't understand.
The gentleman in the blue jacket.
Hey, LeBron, just to piggyback on kind of what Joe was talking about was, in addition to the respect for Spo, it seems like you have a lot of respect for some of the guys on the other side. You were embracing Bam, Jimmy, PJ, obviously UD. But just in particular Jimmy, the matchup that you had against him in the finals, and just kind of as competitors go that you faced in the league, where does he fit?
Anytime you play in this game throughout your career, there's certain guys that stick out that when you step on the floor, it's going to be maximum effort every possession, and that's from both sides. And you're going to win some, you're going to lose some, but the respect after the game is always going to be, it was fun and exciting, and to be in that matchup. And that's been like that throughout Jimmy's whole career, every time I've matched up with him. And I say throughout his whole career because I've been in the league longer, obviously. Every time we've matched up, no matter what uniform he's had on and I had on, we've always battled it out. So nothing but respect for a guy that brings it every single night, brings his hard hat, punches his clock, and leave it all out on the floor.
Last two. I'll take Jordan Richard on Zoom, and then the gentleman in the back of the slide.
Zoom first.
Hey, Bron. Wanted to ask you, just going back to when you guys were down by 86 to 102. I mean, in the last 5 minutes, you guys were down 86 to 102. You make a lot of plays that's not on the stat sheet. One, you being a road man and attracting a lot of defenders to you. Then also, you made a lot of plays which you cut into the basket, attracting a lot of defenders to you. Just wanted to ask you about making those type of plays and what that does for your guys' team, not even just stat plays.
Well, I mean, it's a heavy workload to do that throughout the course. No, I'm just. It's just my job. It's me understanding that throughout my career, I've always attracted a lot of eyes. No matter what I do, if I'm handling the ball, or if I'm setting pick and rolls, or if I'm cutting, I'm going to attract not only the defender that's guard me, but multiple eyes on the back line of defense. And it's just a numbers game. You know, if I can get 2 more guys along with my guy, then we got a 4-on-2. We got a 4-on-2 on the backside. If I get 1 more eye, then we got a 4-on-3. So it's just a numbers game. And after that, you trust your teammates to make plays. And they were doing that when we was able to make that comeback.
Bron, you're gonna get within 2,000 of Kareem on Tuesday, and that puts you pretty much on pace to pass him around this time next season. Knock on wood, if all goes right. What does that matter? What does that mean? How much do you think about? I mean, I think your legacy was secure probably about 10 years ago, so it's not like it's going to mean that you're probably a shoe-in for the Hall or something like that at that point. But as you get closer to the end and closer to the things where nobody's gone, what does that stuff mean?
I mean, as I've continued to climb the ranks, it is natural human to look at it and see where you are and see if it's even possible, see if you're capable. Obviously, health plays the most important part, and then just continue to give your everything to the game. I've never, cheated the game. I've never, wanted to feel like I was content. I wanted to continue to get better, and I am. Like you said, I will be within 2,000 points. What do you say?
I did the math right. Don't hold me to it. Right?
Well,
I think you need just a handful on Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, listen, we'll see what happens. I've never chased a record in my life. I've never said I would say, okay, let me see if I can get this record. Let me see if I can get that record. A lot of times when it happened, I'm just as surprised as like my family members who hit me. They actually see it before me because they see it on the TV or either through a game or on social media. They hit me and I'm like, oh wow, I didn't even know. Like the other night, I had no idea that I hit the 30, 10, and 9 until I saw it after the game. And my mom was the one who sent it to me and congratulated me, which was pretty cool. So. Along the way and along the journey, if you're able to hit milestones and things of that nature, and you're able to put your name in the record books, and you're doing it with the love and the passion of the game, and you're having fun, and you definitely take it. One thing I have not ever had an opportunity to do is kind of sit there and live in the moment when things have happened. I'm weird about those kind of things, but. We'll see what happens. It's one of those things that you never think could possibly happen. Up there with Big O's triple-double record, and I'm with the guy who broke the record now. As one of my teammates. So, I think it's just it's a great thing to be in such an unbelievable league and know the history of the league and so many guys that just paved the way for guys like myself and my teammates, and hopefully I can. Be in conversations with the next generation where they're saying it's just great to be in a conversation with a guy like him. So, appreciate it.
LeBron spending a lengthy amount of time with reporters there, obviously, in Miami. No matter the zone that he is in, guys, though, as he just mentioned, he is in one of the greatest zones of his career. He'll tell you this, too. It's about results and winning in the next opportunity.